coaching chat. We are in a series on follow-up, and y'all, the more I'm reading this book, How to Follow Up. Pretty simple title there. But the more I read it, the more I'm realizing that we cannot put enough emphasis on the follow-up process. And so I'm about halfway through this book, so probably next week we'll finish up this series. But I want to just jump in. We're going to I'm going to share some of the thoughts from this book, and then we're going to reserve a little bit of time at the end to hear from you guys on this follow-up process. And I'm going to challenge you guys. We just got off the leadership huddle with a big challenge. I'm not going to let y'all get off the coaching chat without another challenge. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we are, let's see, I always have to remember what I need to do. When this thing, okay, sorry. I always get confused. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I have one presentation up, and then it takes me a while to find what happened to the other presentation. So bear with me. Okay, the follow-up process. Here we go. All right. So first and foremost, why follow up? You know, we hear a lot about it, but nobody ever, it's kind of like telling your kids not to do something and they're asking why 1,000 times, and we just say because we say so. Well, yeah, that didn't really help, you know. So why do we need to follow up? And I loved, he had these 3 illustrations in the book of why you want to follow up. So he talked about the billboard effect, and he tells a story about this billboard goes up about this new restaurant opening up. And this lady talks about this lady driving by. She sees the billboard and she's like, interesting. Okay, I never thought about, I think it was barbecue. I never thought about barbecue, and drives on by. A week or so later, drives by it again. This time it's early in the morning, and she looks up and thinks about barbecue. Well, it really had no impact on her. It was early in the morning. That really wasn't feeling early in the morning, drove on by. Then the third time she drove by, she thought about it again. She just picked up a bunch of groceries for dinner that night, and she thought, wow, I got to remember that place and go there for dinner. Then the fourth time she drives by, she sees it again on her way to work this time, and she thought, I'm going to see if some of the girls at work want to go there for lunch. They go there for lunch, and it becomes a favorite of all of them, and they start regularly going to this restaurant. The billboard effect. And when I think about that, follow up, timing is everything. It wasn't right, but yet she still got reminded. And when the timing was right, what happened? She became a raving fan. The next story he talks about is the mall sorting effect. And he said, you think about the person who goes to the mall and they need a dress for an event. They always go to Macy's. She's headed to Macy's to go to Macy's to get her dress for the event. And suddenly she sees Neiman Marcus thinking, ooh, this event I'm going, look at that dress in the window. And suddenly she changes course and goes into Neiman Marcus and buys the dress. What was that? It was the exposure. It happened to be there. And, you know, she had on her mind what she wanted, and she got detoured into another direction. Why? Because Neiman Marcus was there. And then the third thing he talked about was this moving parade effect, which to me, this one really got me. He said, if you're sitting up in the stands and a parade's going by, so you've got a line of vision and you're watching as the parade goes by, you only have a selected amount of time to watch that parade. Then it's out of your sight. The same is true a lot of times for people. There may be a window of opportunity that they are interested about health and nutrition, and then it may shut. if we're not consistent with our follow-up, we may miss that window of opportunity. So why follow up? Those are three, to me, great illustrations of the value of the follow-up. I thought those are ones that's going to this is a story. It's stuck in my mind. So when you follow up, what happens? Number one, you move someone towards yes. Number two, you open up the door for more conversation. Someone's received something from you. It opens the door of conversation. Number three, it shows that you care. It communicates you care. And number four, you make a place mark in their mind. They may not know it, but you've done it. You're the fruit and vegetable lady. You're the guy who has the answers when it comes to fruits and vegetables, nutrition. You're making a place mark in their mind. So another 4 reasons why you want to follow up. So what happens when they say no? And if you walk away from this call from nothing more, I want you to get in that head. Do not let the no's stop you. Do not take them personally. Do not take them as a failure. The no's are no's, and there's different kinds of no's. But we've got to determine right off the bat, we are not going to let no's stop us. We all get them. They hurt. 23 years in, it's a pinch when someone tells you no. It's part of the process, and we cannot allow a no to stop us. He talked about number one, they could be saying no to you. Bottom line, they may just not like you. I think of this, this one person comes to mind. I remember the first time, this had to be 25 years ago. We were sitting on my back porch and she was trying to decide whether or not, well, it could have been probably 20 years ago. She was really having a hard time deciding whether or not she wanted to do Juice Plus because I couldn't provide her with a quote unquote organic certification. And I'm sitting there and she was annoying me to no end, telling me she needed an organic certification while she was feeding her kids that Go-Gurt yogurt, I just wanted to slap her. But anyway, she became a customer. They were customers for years. And then suddenly she sent me an email, don't want it anymore. Don't bother me with it. Literally. So anyway, I was like, do you think that hurt? Yes, it did. But I was just like, all right, you know what? Move on. Well, about probably a year ago, I get an email from her and there's something about her I just do not care for. And she probably doesn't care for me. I feel like I feel it from her and she probably feels it from me. But anyway, she reached back out to me and her husband wants Juice Plus. She doesn't want it, but she wants to get it for her husband. So her husband's back on Juice Plus. And he was the original person I talked to anyway, but I'm here to say is there may be some people who just don't like you. Because there are people you don't really like either. Don't worry about it. Do not worry about it. And that's what I want to say. Let it go. I know it could eat us. It eats me if I let it, but we have to learn to just let it go. Maybe they're saying no to the product and not necessarily to you. They're just not in a place yet that the Juice Plus product or maybe the business makes sense to them. I didn't get started on Juice Plus till I had kids. If you would have introduced me to that earlier, I would have been, I don't think I need that. Nothing against the product or the person. It's just the timing might not be right. People don't realize they need it. So saying no, they're just not ready for the product. Or it could be they're saying no to how we say it. Maybe we aren't coming across in a way that would attract them. That's why we want to constantly, kudos to each one of you for being on these calls. The more we process and talk, and I got to do a shout out to Brenda. I remember, and Brenda, I don't even know if you'll remember this, talking about maybe it's how we say it. I remember, and it was the first time I met Karen Farrell, and it was up in Indy. I'd flown to Indy to help do an event. Dr. Du Bois was there. It was a great event. It was over, and it was me and Brenda and this guy he was just like helping clean up. I don't know what he was doing, but helping clean up. Me and Brenda was helping him clean up after the fact. It was just the three of us. So I'm off in one corner doing whatever. Brenda's like following the guy around. And I am starting to listen to this conversation between Brenda and this guy. And I thought, man, Brenda had a way with this guy and she just drew him in. The conversation got great. I was sitting there, I almost probably sat down with a napkin and started writing Brenda's verbiage down. It was that good. It truly was. And I just saw her just reel him in. And I just thought, wow, I didn't teach her that. She just is gifted. And when I heard that, it made me realize that we all can continue. I brought Brenda into the business, but I want to say, sit down. Let me just take notes of what you said because of how she said it. And so we could be saying it wrong. So let's always be open to learn from each other, because we will learn great things from each other if we take the time to do that. So anyway, and then lastly, I'm sorry, I got off track, but that thought came to my mind. Then lastly, why they say no. Sometimes it's just timing. The timing just isn't right. Whatever the no is, don't worry about it. Let it roll off your shoulders, because it happens to every single one of us. But you never know when that no will turn into a yes. And that's where the follow-up is so important. Okay, so let's see, I went the wrong way. Sorry about that, folks. All right, so what about when they say, I'll have to think it over? How many people love to hear that? Oh, you're just like, are you serious? Well, it's normal. It is normal. We got to learn how to deal with it. Sometimes it might be that they're making a decision to buy Juice Plus from you or to join you in the business may bring back a bad decision that they've made. So if you sense that, don't shy away from it, lean into it. So if you sense that, there's something there, then you lean into it and say, so tell me, it sounds like to me that something's holding you back. What would be holding you back from getting started? Lean into it when you feel like you want to pull away from it. You want to find out what that bad decision may be, or whatever it is that's making them have to think about it. You want to unpack it with them. A lot of times, when people say they need to think it over, people just hate change. I'm embarrassed to say I had an assistant for 9 years and I felt like she was stealing from me. And she was. But I didn't want to deal with it because I didn't want to have to change. I didn't want to have to get a new assistant. People don't like change, and they deal with a lot of pain because they feel like change would be more pain. So I think when you realize it's just a matter of changing, they're used to some supplement they're already on, lean into it. Every time you want to pull away, it's probably a signal you want to lean in. The next thing, people like to play it safe. Well, they're used to this. That was kind of what I didn't want to have to train a new assistant. Even though I had a gut, she wasn't being up front and up. People like to have someone validate their decision. So they're unsure of this decision. I'm telling you, I've learned, and I'm learning more and more, when you say, I believe with all my heart, you will love Juice Plus. This will be the best decision you will ever make. Sometimes people just need that validation when they need to think it over. They need the validation. They're just unsure about their decision. People are afraid they're overcommitting. Oh my gosh, I've got, Edie and I laugh. She's going to laugh. Edie and I have been talking about, she's got someone who wants Juice Plus, but still got a bunch of vitamins left over. So, I think she's afraid of committing because she's got all this vitamins left over. Sometimes it's just processing with them. It's okay, keep taking them, but start taking Juice Plus because it takes 4 months for Juice Plus to fully get into your system. That's a good way to help ease them in. And then lastly, I think sometimes it's a risk and people aren't sure that it's a risk. Will it pay off? Will I notice anything once I start taking Juice Plus? Why not pull from our archives of videos? I love that. I literally just sent that health transformations video to a canceled customer. And I think I just remember she got on it, she loved it, but then she told me she had some challenging things happening and she had to get off. And I just sent it to her and didn't say anything about getting back on Juice Plus. I just said, oh my gosh, I thought of you. I know you have a lot of windshield time with all the driving that you do. You're going to love hearing these health transformation stories. What am I doing? I'm breaking down the risk for her. So when they have to think it over, what we want to do is really start listening for cues. What is it that they have to think about? And go there and talk about it with them and listen well to make sure that we don't miss what the cues are. We're in the business of solving problems, but if we don't find out what the problem is, we're not going to be able to solve it. And consequently, there will be no sale. Don't solve the problem before you know what it is. I remember one time very clearly, I was talking to someone about getting on Juice Plus and their mom had just died of cancer. I am talking all around cancer, through cancer, about cancer, Juice Plus, cancer, Juice Plus, cancer, Juice Plus. Nothing. It was just like it. I felt like I was talking to a stone wall. And I'm like, shut up, Elaine, just shut up. What am I doing here? She's not responding. When I stopped and let her begin to talk, she began telling me about an issue her son was having. And clearly, that was weighing much heavier on her than her mom. And if I would have started at the beginning and really started listening for cues and getting her talking, we would have saved a lot of time. That next thing is listening is a skill that we have to learn. And I'm telling you guys, 23 years in, I am still learning the skill. I'm not good at it. I'm an extrovert. I want to talk. But it's a skill I've got to learn and relearn again. And then lastly, listen first, solve the problem second. We got to hear what that problem is. All right, we're going to walk through these real quickly, and then I want to hear from you guys. So if I'm listening to someone for those cues, and I got somebody who is a skeptic, that Juice Plus doesn't work. That's just a bunch of marketing. What might that be telling you? Maybe they've had a bad experience. So what if I ask, have you had a bad experience with another supplement? Don't be afraid. We all, and I'm telling this to myself too, we all feel it. But when we want to pull back, that's when we should be leaning in. So tell me, I notice you're skeptical. What's made you skeptical? Is there something that's happened? Or someone's busy? Maybe you're talking to someone about joining you in the business. Well, they're too busy. They got too much going on. What if I turn that around and begin with admiring them for how successful they've been? And really acknowledge the great things they're doing and how Juice Plus might complement what they're currently doing. Or what if I've got the scared employee? You ever talk to someone, I can't, I've just been working here. I've been doing this for 20 years. I couldn't sell anything. Have you heard that before? What do they need? They need some confidence. And I remember my husband giving me that confidence. I remember when I got approached when Scott looked at me and we love Juice Plus, he's like, you've been looking for, now that you quit work, you've been looking for a business. What if you did this? I'm like, sales? I've never done sales. I can't do sales. And you know what he said? He goes, well, you've referred Juice Plus to all your friends. You may as well make some money off of it. I'll never forget that line. What did I need? I was scared. I didn't have any confidence. I needed someone. And when he said that, he goes, at least you can cover our costs. Heck, you probably already done that by now with as many people as you've referred. What did I need? I needed confidence. What about the silent person? They just listen. Yeah. You ever talk to someone and you try for the life of you and you can't get them talking? Start establishing some common ground. I was laughing at my husband. I learned so much from him. He had a really difficult meeting this past week, and this guy had been really, really difficult with people who'd come to visit him before. So they sent Scott in. And I couldn't wait to hear the story of what happened at the end of this conversation. And I said, how did it go? And he goes, actually, it's not bad. I said, really? I said, how'd you do it? And he began to tell me about his conversation. And you know what he did? He was establishing common ground. And he was telling me the different things. The guy would say nothing. The guy would say nothing until he discovered he was in the military. And he said, as Scott said, I saw his eyes light up when he told me about the military and his experience. And Scott began to talk to him about the military and bring the two together, what he was currently doing in the military. And what that did was establish common ground. So if you've got someone who's pulling back, they don't want to talk, don't worry about Juice Plus. Worry about establishing common ground with that person. And then lastly, anybody have the health nut? They eat healthy. They don't need Juice Plus. They eat just the perfect diet. They get plenty of fruits and vegetables. Anybody have that person? What do they need? They need validation. Wow. You know what? Not a whole lot of people can do what you do. That is amazing that you have that kind of, that you see the value of nutrition. And you validate them. I can't tell you, instead of being combative, like there's no way you're getting 9 to 13 fruits and vegetables. That doesn't work. But what if I say, tell me how do you get all your fruits and vegetables in? Give me your normal day. And you know what? What am I doing? I'm validating them for what they're doing right. And so many times what happens, they come back and say, and I had this the other day talking to someone, she goes, all my numbers are good. I get my blood work done every 6 months. They're all good. I'm like, that's awesome. Tell me what your regimen looks like. And by the time we were done, she was like, maybe I do need that Juice Plus, because I started talking about the Children's Health Study when I found out she had a son. She goes, maybe I should get on that so I could get it for my son. I said, none of us can eat enough, even if you're eating an impeccable diet. Every additional serving of fruits and vegetables lowers your risk of any disease across the board. So listen for clues and cues. Listen, because I don't know if it was supposed to be cues or clues, but either way, we want to pay attention. And when we do, good things will happen. All right, I'm going to stop for a minute and think about the skeptic, the busy executive, the scared employee, the silent guy, the health nut. Any other ones out there that you're talking to and it's a challenge? Did I miss anyone, or did we cover them all? Anybody had one of those lately?
Nadia had a great point about the health nut. Can you share that, Nadia?
Oh, yeah, I just wrote it in the, sorry, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I wrote it in the chat. So, I mean, people who spend a lot of time, taking care of their health, they spend a lot of time in the kitchen. And I used to cook the 9 servings of vegetables for my entire family. And I was cooking all day long. So to not have to do that anymore is a
Wow,
big time changer. Yeah, I did that for 4 years. Mhm.
excellent point. Excellent point. All right, who else?
I remember from the Casey Schloss event that we had, she talked about before Juice Plus, as she and her husband went into, really understanding fruits and vegetables, that every week he spent 3 hours of juicing. An hour each way to get the vegetables, an hour to clean them, an hour to juice them every week. And that Juice Plus took all of that, gave them an extra 3 hours, not to mention the money. You never know.
Excellent. Who else? Any other thoughts on the skeptic, the busy person? But who else did I have? We talked about the health nut.
Now,
This
Nadia
is
has another
we-
point. She's
I
already-
would have a comment, Elaine.
Yeah, Lucian.
So, playing it safe. Sometimes that's not only on the customer side, that might be on our side.
Mm.
And that was brought to me full force recently because, as most of you know, I have esophageal issues from my cancer
Mm.
back in 2005. So I have a lot of medical appointments with gastroenterologists.
Mm.
And you figure that GI people should know good about diets and nutrition and stuff like that. And just because they have a title before their name and a bunch of letters after their name doesn't mean that they know more than we do.
Mhm.
And that was brought out recently when I had my pre-op with the nurse. And when we left there, she's telling Joanne and I that I need to get this because my daughter needs to have it.
Mm.
So and you figure she's a GI nurse, so she should know what's good for her daughter.
Mhm.
And to follow up even more on that, when I had my procedure done, I'm in the recovery room waking up for anesthesia, and there's Jelaine trading phone numbers and information with my recovery nurse
Wow.
because she wanted to know more about our Tower Gardens.
Wow.
So the point is even though the customer might want to play it safe, sometimes we need to not play it safe, even though we think they may know more than we do.
Whew.
Right.
Lucian, excellent, excellent point. Excellent point.
Mhm.
We all do it.
Mhm.
23 years in, I still do it too.
And I remember Dr. Phillips talking about how there was only one nutrition class when he went to medical school. And he said, and none of us went to it because we were too cool. We didn't have any idea what nutrition, that's not what was being taught.
Anyone else? Did I cover all those categories or there's some more I missed?
I think Nadia had, let's see.
Oh,
I just have a quick story, and this is just more about the follow-up. And I'd say that I was the busy person. So I just got a Mary Kay gal called me, and she messaged me and she sent me samples, and she followed up 12 times. 12. And she is wearing me out. I'm making my own skincare. Mary Kay makes my face itch and my eyes hurt. And finally, I finally today was like, hey, I need to wash my face. I found your samples. Okay, and man, I'm probably gonna buy something from her because I need like an SPF and I can't make that because she wore me out. And so she was like the billboard. She was all of those things, Elaine, that you said. And I don't even want Mary Kay, and I'm gonna probably get some.
Wow, but wow, what a great champion for the product she was.
She
I
was.
love it. I
And I
love
just am like, Lord, give me an ounce of that. Let me at least follow up 4 times, We have an amazing product that doesn't make your eyes
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah,
Funny.
I love it. It works. It
Yeah.
works.
It
Follow-up
works. Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to share a thought or a story? Karen, I see you got your hand.
Yeah, I've got one, and it just happened this morning, so it's fresh in my mind. I met a couple of ladies a week and a half ago at store because I was looking for something for conference. And she said, what are you looking for? I said, well, just something I can wear at a conference. She goes, oh, what kind of conference? And I said, oh, it's in the health and nutrition industry. It's Juice Plus. Have you heard of it? And blah, blah, blah. She said, no. And she said something like, well, be careful. You know, there's a lot going around these days. I said, well, there won't be any sick people at this conference because we all take Juice Plus. And so she was like, wow. So she started asking more and she said, well, you've got really good skin. What do you use? And I said, again, it's Juice Plus, and, you know, explained a little bit further what it was. And so her, and then she threw in another sales girl and we were just talking like crazy. And so I thought, I've got 2 orders right here. So I sent them immediately after I left. I'm in my car. I'm sending both of them all of my normal, you know, videos and the research and all that. And even my story, sent it to them. Nothing. Didn't hear a thing. Then I followed up like 2 days later. Hey, did you get a look at the information I sent? Nothing. Neither one of them responded. So then I called and said, hey, you know, I just wanted to make sure, you know, I'm not sure that you got my information because sometimes phones block us if we're not contacts. And just want to make sure you got the information to see if you had any questions. Nothing. So today I thought, okay, this is the last time I'm calling them. So I called them and the one said, she was, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I'm so glad you called me because I've been so busy. And, you know, have 6 grandkids and 3 kids and my mother and, you know, and Easter and all that. She said, but I really want to, you know, sit down and look at all that because she goes, I just felt that you were genuine and you're sincere. And I just wanted to, you know, connect with you. And so I'm going to do that. And I'll get back with you. I really want the product. And I'd also recommended something else, a lotion that I had been trying. And so they all bought it. And I said, I should be an influencer. Bought that product. But anyway, so now, and then the other one said, I'm going to call you right back. I'm with a client. She's a realtor as well. And she's going to call me back. So like, okay, again, there's your persistence and your follow-up and don't give up.
Yeah, and one thing that was just really struck me when you're talking, Karen, is sometimes when we think we're hearing no, we immediately take it upon ourselves. Oh my gosh, they didn't like me. They didn't like this. They didn't, you know, blah, blah, blah. And none of it is the case. None of it is the case. And that right there, you could have quit because you didn't hear from them, but you didn't. And you could have quit thinking, oh my gosh, you know, they don't want to hear from me anymore. So I love it. I love it. Okay, guys. Well, okay, here's the challenge. This is what we gave the challenge to the leadership, and I'm gonna throw a challenge out to y'all too. When you think follow up, do you think follow up to a prospective partner, follow up to a prospective customer, follow up to a current customer, or follow up to a partner? What's the first one that comes to your mind when I say follow up?
Customer.
Who said customer?
Right,
Linda?
right.
A customer? Okay, good.
Customers.
That's all of them. Anybody else? Which one came to mind when I said follow up?
Customer.
All right. Whatever comes to mind, doesn't matter. They all need followed up on. You follow up on a customer, you're going to get referrals. You follow up on a prospect customer, you're going to get a customer. You follow up on a prospect partner, you know, we need them all. We need them all. You follow up on a canceled customer, what's going to happen? You just might get a canceled customer back. So here's my challenge to y'all. Accept it or not, 5 areas. Number 1, prospective customers. Reach out to 5 prospective customers this week. Number 2, reach out to 5 prospective partners this week. Number 3, reach out to 5 customers this week. And when those customers, don't send them a text, make a phone call. All right. And then let me see, who have I missed? Oh, reach out to 5 canceled customers if you have them. Maybe you don't have canceled customers. Wouldn't that be nice? So that's 20. I'm really loading you up to that, but I can't wait to hear. And then the 5th thing, add 5 new prospective anything to your memory jogger. Just 5 prospect names to your memory jogger. You don't have to call them, just add them. Y'all, if we consistently did that, and let's talk about, let's just say maybe that's, so if I did 5 a day, we're talking, I mean, that's less than an hour. If we want to grow and build our business, we better be working at least 5 hours a week. I really feel like probably to really see any movement, you need to invest about 10 hours, at least 10 hours a week in your business. So getting those 20 connections in and adding 5, that's really doable. So I'm going to challenge you guys to track it. And let's come back next week and let's hear what kind of follow-up we did and the impact that it's having on us. All right, I'm going to shut up. We're at 10 after. I always try to wrap it up. Oops, I forgot.